Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite Dragons podcast. I'm your host Elijah, and joining me today, as always, is my co-host Julian. Jules, how are you, brother?
Good, bro. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. And a very special guest needs no introduction. It's Dane from Clarkey's Rugby League column. Clarkey, how's it going, bro?
What's going, boys? Thanks for having me on. I'll be honest, I don't appear on too many rival fans' podcasts when my team's going up against them, but I owe it to the Dragons fans because, and they're all going to hate me when I say this, but I tipped you guys for the spoon this year, and so I had to come face the music because if you guys beat the Titans this week, then all Dragons fans are entitled to absolutely give it to me, and I hope they do.
Fair enough. Before we begin, I'd like to announce that the Saints podcast is proud to be partnering with a local cricketer organisation, Drunk and Hangover. They'll be sponsoring our work moving forward, and we're incredibly excited about the opportunity to collaborate and grow together this season. We really appreciate their support and cannot wait to see what we can build with them. Now, boys, I'll start with Jules. Now, Jules, over the weekend, Dragons fall to the Eels 20 points to 30 in a game where I'll start and I'll kind of give it to you. In a game where I felt like we could have took control over it. We're up 14-6. Valentine Holmes makes a break. Stuffs up the inside ball. They go down the other hand, get a sin bin, and momentum switches 2 tries before the half ends. And then we just never got back into the game. Even like Jules, you being at the game, firstly, what do you like being at CommBank Stadium? What was your atmosphere like? What was the atmosphere?
The atmosphere is always unreal there. Every time I've been against Eels, Dragons against Eels, it's been unreal. It's a great stadium to be at. Other than that, the game, it was we could have ran away with it. It was just the errors and like you said, the errors.
Yeah.
And
I think one thing that stood out to me is our lack of X factor. I feel like when you look at the Dragons 1 to 17 or 1 to 19, every single week, you kind of look and you can't really pinpoint an X factor that can break a game wide open. You know, you have the Clint Guthersons, you have your Val Holmes, you have your Jacob Littles. I mean, the only X factor I see is honestly probably Jacob Little. And I feel like during the game against Parramatta, I felt like it was kind of hard for him to get involved in that because the forwards weren't doing the job. When the forwards rolling and they get quick play the balls, Jacob Little's easily be able to roll off that and gain momentum. I just didn't see that, and I think that shows a lot. I thought our forwards were honestly good on the weekend, but I think a few individuals, I feel like it was hard for them to get in the game, especially I think Clint Gutherson. I feel like he had an ordinary game. I also think Valentine Holmes struggled to kind of make a real impact in that game. I also think our attack was honestly, to be quite frank, atrocious in that second half. Even in that first half, you see that Luciano Leilua try was purely based off the Parramatta. It was weak middle defense. You know, he just steamrolled there. There was nothing really going in that play. And I mean, the Jane Saw try in the first half, I got to give props. That was a good pass by Atkinson. But even in the second half, we had a man overlap for 10 minutes. 13 on 12. And there's a specific play where there was about 5-on-1, and Gula and Gutherson were on the left, and they didn't pass it, and they ran it. And I'm like, if you just go through their hands, it's an easy try, and we take the lead. Things like that really show me why and show the difference between a top team and, a bang average on the borderline like 8, but I'd even see us on the borderline 8 with how we've played in the 50 rounds. Clarkey, as a neutral, how did you see the Dragons' performance on the weekend?
Yeah, well, I tipped Dragons. I thought they could win this game against the Eels, but I was bitterly disappointed as a neutral fan in the Dragons there. I think what the Dragons are going wrong at the moment is there's no clear game plan. The game plan changes during games. At times, it's focused on going up the middle, and that works great when Jacob Liddell comes on. But then Jacob Liddell gets brought on at a point of the game that didn't really suit. The momentum wasn't there for him to come on and continue having that impact. But what really stands out to me for the Dragons was when they were attacking a 12-man Eels defensive line. Get the ball early to either Valentine Holmes or Moses Sully as the halves. There were too many times where they threw the dummy and tried to go themselves. And so you look at what's really cost the Dragons over the last 2 years. It's their inability to win these tight contests where they might lose a game by 8 points, but there's so many times when we look back as fans and go, they could have won there, they could have capitalized there. And I think, as unfair as it could be seen, the halves need to shoulder the larger responsibility for that.
Yeah.
And look, there's a new halfback now in Daniel Atkinson. The one key theme that's still there is Kyle Flanagan. And I feel guilty talking about it, right? Because I feel like Meaders and Memory have gone too far and bullied him. And that's not what I'm trying to do, but I just think it's time for a change.
I honestly think his position is a 14, a utility coming on as maybe roaming around in that 9 role.
I'd love to see Atkinson run that ball in the 6. Maybe Kyle even maybe switch it up with them two, but I don't know, because Kyle last year, if you really watch the games, he got us into some games. That Raiders game in Canberra, I was there, and wow, that comeback the club made, honestly, think was because of Kyle's kicking game, and even we won it a couple of weeks later in Wollongong. I reckon, honestly, because of Kyle as well. He stirred the ship that game, and maybe I do feel like a switch up. But
look, I think one thing I've seen improvement from the Dragons from last season is their kicking game. Atkinson has surprised me with his kicking game, honestly. Whenever we've had a mid set, he's honestly kicked us out of danger and got us some good field position. But I would still like to see, I don't know, Clarkey, do you think if Atkinson moves to that 6, if Atkinson stays there and you drop Flanagan, who do you put? Do you put Larkin in there to switch it up? Because we haven't seen that combination. Do you think it's time for Cade Reid? Although I personally think he's not physically ready. Who would you say, if Kyle is dropped, who do you think comes in and fills that void in that 6 or 7 jersey?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be Cade Reid just yet. I'd want to see him play at least like double-digit New South Wales Cup games and really show that he's ready and his body's matured and ready for that, rigorous rigor of an NRL season. I'd swap them for now, and I'd have Atkinson employ more of a running game. I think he was always dangerous when he ran at the Sharks. I'd get Kyle in more of a game-managing role in the 7. Yeah. And the person that I'd be most interested in if I'm the Dragons right now is Jamie Humphries. The Rabbitohs CEO came out today on radio and basically said, we don't have money to re-sign him. I think Jamie Humphries would be an awesome 7 with Daniel Atkinson as your 6. And then I'd have Kyle Flanagan, like you said, in a 14 role. And this is a little bit left field as well, boys. But for the Dragons, I'd be willing to trial that this year. Damien Cook to 13 because he does have such a strong passing game, and giving Liddell more minutes at 9. Like, you'll know pretty quick whether that works on it. It could end up where it's just like, okay, no, he's a hooker. We tried. It doesn't have the size like a Cameron McInnes, whatever it might be. Or it could be like, wow, we're actually getting some earlier ball out to Moses Sully and out to Valentine Holmes now because we've got someone linking up with the halves and allowing them to start a bit wider. So I'd be willing to test that if I was you guys as well. There's a few different tinkers I'd like to see in your spine.
No, I think one of my biggest concerns is I don't know if Clint Gutherson can be our fullback anymore. I think that he can be in the side somewhere. I just think in this day and age of rugby league, you need more of a smaller, more quicker, more agile fullback. And I think Clint Gutherson is kind of past that, archetype of fullbacks. You see, your Sulfalongos, your Jai Greys. I've definitely missed a lot. Yeah, exactly.
To say my fullback.
But I honestly think that I don't know where you would put
Shane needs to pick up the phone. I think he needs to pick up the phone and call Sloan up at one point. If we don't win a game after 10 rounds, are we going to win 12 straight? No. Seriously. Yeah. Like, if that really is a problem, Shane needs to make some changes. He can't be picking the same lineup and just change the bench, honestly.
Yeah, expecting a different result.
But we just got to wait. Got to wait till Sunday, and then changes need to be made if we lose.
Look, it feels like it's the same thing I'm saying over and over again every single year. Like in terms of our game management, sometimes you're just poor. We can't play the full 80 minutes. We saw that in the Melbourne game. Played for 60 minutes and took the foot off the pedal when it was supposed to capitalize. Kyle ran out on last. And in terms of that, like certain plays, like really could be executed properly. I also think I was on a podcast with Shane Flanagan. Me and Jules were on a podcast in December, and I asked him why we didn't go after Jamal Fogarty, and his answer was really interesting. He kind of said, "Look, at that point we signed Atkinson, and it wouldn't understand like why would we sign two halves?" But in my head, I'm like, wouldn't that make more like that'll make more sense for you to sign Jamal Fogarty? Because right now, a halves pairing of Jamal Fogarty and Atkinson is 10 times better than than Daniel Atkinson and Cole Flanagan. I feel like I don't know. 2024, Cole's first year at the club, I thought it was honestly amazing. Jules can back me up.
It was decent. It was very underrated. Very underrated season.
Very underrated
from him.
And last season, you know, like when one person says something in the media, everyone just jumps on it, and that put lots of pressure on Cole. And I just, I don't know.
I feel pretty bad for him because everyone just comes after him now.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Cole Flanagan, I don't think he's as good as the Dragons coaching staff think, but he is nowhere near as bad as what fans make out.
100%.
I just think he's in the wrong position as a 6 because I was just looking at the rest of the NRL ladder there. The only other teams that kind of have halves with similar attributes to him that's more game managing in a 6 is Jonah Pezzett at the Eels, Braden Trindle at the Sharks, and Sam Walker at the Roosters. And they still have more running elements to their game than Kyle Flanagan offers. So I feel like the Dragons either need to decide, like, we're going to have Kyle Flanagan as our 7 and Daniel, you're going to run, or Kyle, you're going to be our 14 and come on, because he does defend really well. He does kick really well. Kyle Flanagan has really great qualities to his game, but I just feel like he's being misused in the 6 position when you look at the top 4 right now. You've got Luke Metcalf, Blaze Talangi, Matt Burton, Cameron Munster. They're all running 5'8". The game is trending towards that. We don't really see two. You know, back in the day, you just want your 5'8" to be either the left side player or the right side player. And then the halfback would be the other. It's so different now that I just think Kyle's being misused a little bit.
110%. It will kind of, if I had a podcast to talk about the Dragons' struggles this season, it'd go for 2 hours long. So quietly we'll segue to the Titans versus Cowboys. Now, Clarkey, I'll kind of let you steer the ship for this one. A game where, honestly, quite frankly, you guys looked good in some aspects, but again, it felt like you guys struggled just to put your foot on the gas and capitalize in some real attacking opportunities. How did you think the game went on the weekend against the Cowboys?
I thought we beat ourselves. Like, respect to the Cowboys, they deserved the win. I'm not saying they didn't. I just think the Titans didn't give themselves a chance. Maybe that's a better way to describe what happened. We'd score a try and we'd knock one off the kickoff. And I'm not saying that happened once. That happened 3 times. Like, you can't be committing those sort of sins in rugby league. And my assessment after the game was the Titans are either so physically unfit that they just cannot compete for sustained periods of time. But we know no one does preseasons harder than Des Hasler, and we still had those problems last year. So for me, it just has to be a mental thing where maybe there's an area of comfort in this side where no one's on edge. No one feels like they can be dropped. Everyone's kind of mates. I'm not sure. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but what I can say is mentally, in terms of mental resilience and being focused and ready to go for the full 80 minutes, we've just shown over the last 2 years we just can't do it because we get to the end of every game and you go, well, there was some glimpses of positivity there, but you never get to the end of the game and go, they played well for 80 minutes there. And that's what's disheartening the most, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that you kind of see the similarities between the Dragons and the Titans in that aspect. I will say, Jules, when you look at the Titans team, what are you scared of the most? Like, what do you think are the Titans' biggest X factor or strength that you look at the game on the week and you're like, far out, Shane really needs to circle this in and focus on this?
Mainly, honestly, the forwards. Especially with Tino there. Yeah. And now that Campbell's had his first game back, him as well in the halves. That's about it. Oh, also, yeah, Kinney's a gun fullback, so he could run amok around us.
Look,
So
when I look at the Titans team, they don't have a bad team. I don't think. I
no,
think when you look on paper, they genuinely don't. Well, Clarky, you can kind of allude to this. Like, what do you think is your biggest concern right now? Either like when you look at the team or as they play, what do you think? You kind of talked about how you guys don't play the full 80 minutes, but what do you think really needs to be fixed right now?
I think it comes back to our forward pack. Like without Jamin Joliffe, who did an ACL in the preseason, we're already one quality player down. And so we're seeing Tino and Moeki Fotuwake. They're in a form slump. Those two rather, haven't played so poor before in their NRL careers. They're both really low on where they can be and where they have been for so many years in their form. And I've always felt the Titans, the forward pack has a direct flow onto everything, which is a cliche for every team, but more so the Titans when you consider our spine is Sam Verrills, a running hooker, AJ Brimson, essentially a fullback, Jaden Campbell, essentially a fullback, and Keanu Kinney. So if our forwards don't get over the opposition and get that momentum, then we don't have like a Daly Cherry Evans or an experienced half to be like, that's okay, I'll get us out of this mess. We need our forwards going over the top so then all of our strike can sort of play off that. Outside of that, I don't really see the Titans having the ability to generate strike, momentum, big moments. If the forwards aren't going forward, then we're in big trouble, and we have been so far this year because of that, in my view.
What do you think is their biggest strength, would you say, Clark, that your team has?
Well, our biggest strength is, like, you look at the Melbourne Storm and what makes them so successful. It's having Suafai Longo, Cameron Munster, and Jerome Hughes. Last week against the Broncos, their spine had 82 runs. For context, the Broncos' spine had 29. But they're only able to do that because they're able to generate momentum. But if the Titans are able to generate that momentum, our biggest strength can be the same because all of our spine players are running players as well, primarily. And then I just feel if we can get that right and keep the defenses guessing, then that unlocks our passing game. Our passing game doesn't become so forced or so obvious of, okay, they're just going to shift left to right here. And as the defense, you kind of just go, just slide. If we can get that roll and get that momentum, man, I think we can be dangerous.
100%. I honestly believe, and you boys can kind of get your thoughts, but my opinion, when I look at the team, I think you could argue the Titans, or I'll say it right now, I think the Titans have more X factor than the Dragons. And I think that scares me the most as a Dragons. And Jules, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. We have decent names, but like not really much speed. There's a lot of speed in that Titans side. Once they get a break and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even
and that's kind of where I would like to see some change in the back line. Like I feel like Shane Flanagan is kind of, doing the pick and stick thing where you're not supposed to do the pick and stick when you're losing. Kind of change things up. I love Setsu and I love CT, but maybe change it up. Maybe bring in David Farley because in New South Wales Cup he's been killing it over the weekend. He had a hat trick in the first half. He's been killing in New South Wales Cup. You say Tyrell Sloan, he's been killing Cup. I'd like to see some rewards for those boys killing it in Cup. It's very frustrating, as Johnny said. Anyway, we'll segue into the Dragons versus Titans game this weekend. Now, Jules, do you want to do the honor and read out the Dragons 1-19
Let me just get it up. Give me 2 seconds. All right, Dragons starting lineup. Number 1, Clint Gufferson, Christian Tuipulotu and Satu Tu as the wingers, Moses Sully and Val Holmes as the centers, halves, Cole Flanagan and Daniel Atkinson, Emre Gula, Damien Cook, Blake Laurie, Luciano Leilua, Jaden Sewer, Hamish Stewart. Now our bench. 14 is Jacob Little, James Sele, welcome back, and Jacob Halangahu, Loko Pacifici Tonga. Welcome back, boys. That's
honestly, I think it's a good. I honestly like I like the bench. Honestly, I've been calling for the boys to let me just get up the team. I've been wanting a guy like Jacob Halangahu to come back and Locker to come back. It's interesting. Number 21, Ryan Hutchison. Now he hasn't made his debut yet, but he's been killing it in New South Wales Cup. So I'm curious to see if maybe a late switch is looming because I honestly do think he'll add a lot to the side. Look, the bench, I said Jaime Sele comes back in, Halangahu, Loco. I think it's one of the better benches we've had to start. I think it's probably our best bench to start the season this year. You say Josh Kerr moved to 18 and Hayden Buchanan. I rate Hayden Buchanan, honestly.
Buchanan also another guy.
I'm interested to see why Nick Suganos. I feel like he should be in that 22-man squad. I rate him a lot. We'll get into the game a bit later, but Clarkey, do you want to go through the Titans lineup and announce the 1 to 19?
Yeah, Titans starting lineup for the game this Sunday. We've got Keanu Kinney at fullback. Our wingers are Cialetti Farmani and Philip Sami. Our centers are Jojo Fafita and Max Fiangai. Halves AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell, but there are reports that AJ might move to the centers and Lachlan Ilias will come in against his former club. So one to watch there for the viewers. Our front row is Moeki Fodawaker and Tino Fa'asuamaleaui with Sam Verrills at hooker. Back row is Arama Howell, Bo Fermor, Chris Randall. Our interchange is Curtis Moran, Tukey Simpkins, Cleese Haas, and Cooper Bai. And our extended bench for now is Lachlan Ilias and Josh Patson.
Clarkey, do you like that? Are you pleased? Are you satisfied with that lineup?
Yeah, I want to see Ilias come in, if I'm honest. I think this is a game where Ilias can really perform, and I think that it would allow Jaden Campbell to run a little bit more as a halfback, and Ilias can kind of control our team and get us to the right parts of the field where we need to sit. And it's not like Max Fiangai, who was handy for the Dolphins last year. He hasn't set the world on fire since he's come to the Titans, and AJ similarly has really struggled at 5'8" to start the year. He's just not clicking with Jaden Campbell at the moment. So I think it's about time to pull the trigger and try something new. I don't think any Titans fan can point to our opening 3 games now and go, no, that they look so good, then you can't make changes to that team. I think everyone would universally agree changes should be made and could be made. So yeah, I like that change, man. I think it'd kind of be a cool storyline as well for Lachlan Ilias to get a shot at Shane Flanagan, who since leaving the club, he's actually come out publicly and said, this guy never gave me a chance. So that'd be a cool storyline to follow there as well.
It would. Look, if I'm honest, I'm looking at the side, like the teams for both sides. I'm not confident. I think this game overall is going to be a very high scoring game. I think the Titans' defense has been, to be quite frank, pretty bad to start the year. Honestly, I think the Dragons' defense in the first game was good, but apart from that, like it's just been poor. Like that Talon De Silva try was really poor. Nothing going for them. Just scoot from dummy half, but the forwards just didn't get underneath the ball. I can see one player from the Titans that really scares me, and I honestly think he'll kill us. Is Cooper Bai. I rate Cooper Bai a lot. And I think he's going to come on and make a real impact. Am I just biased because I've got him in my Supercoach team? Potentially. But I honestly think he's a big threat to the Dragons, especially our forwards. If we get tired, we have no stamina. And I think I'm curious to see if Hamish Stewart will start the game at lock or maybe he'll start Jaime Sele because the past couple of weeks, Hamish just came off the bench. It's not working because we haven't won. I'm not saying it's purely based on that why we haven't won, but try change it up a bit. I think giving Hamish a start, especially with Toby Cowson out, having that youth to start the game, especially when you look at the rest of the starting forward lineup, Emre Gula, Laurie, Leilua, Saw, it's an aging forward pack. So starting a youthful forward, I think it might be beneficial for the Dragons this weekend. In terms of predictions, look, this can really go either way. I can see a Titans classic win at home running away with it where the Dragons just don't show up. I can also see a Dragons vs Titans round 1 2024-esque victory. That's the game. Where the Titans struggle to get in the game and the Dragons just will run away with it. That being said, I'm doing a lot of yapping. I'll say the Dragons will win, and I think it will be a close game to an extent. I think it will be 24 points to. Do I go 24? No, I tell you what, I don't know about I'll go 24 points to 14. I think it will be around 18 to 14 with about 10 minutes to go, and I think we'll get a late try to seal it to seal the game. I think Jacob Little comes on and snags a try. I can see I can see him going through the middle and getting a try. I also honestly I could see about 3 Titans scoring against us. I can predict. I think our forwards are really soft in some aspects. So I think their speed against our forwards is something we really got to look at, Jules. Especially like I just look at Keanu Kinney. I think Max Fina will have a good game, honestly, against his former club. I think he will. Philip Sami always kills us, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like even Jaden Campbell and AJ Brimson, it's just too much. I'm gonna say AJ Brimson gets a try because I'm pretty sure
Fair
he
enough.
does. So there we go. 24 points to 14. Jacob Little and AJ Brimson try scorers.
Yep.
Jules.
I'm gonna say Dragons. 18-14. Half time will be like 6-8 either end. Dragons run away with it, but look, we're both just searching for a win, so it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not going to be. That's just on a score. Any times, I feel like for the Dragons, Halangahu is hungry, man. He's hungry forward. He's the captain of the cup team, and he's now back in the first team on the bench, and I feel like he'll bulldoze over. And from the Titans, I just see Kinney scoring. He's a fast fullback.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Dane?
that's it for me.
My game prediction, I'm going to go 30-20. I think it'll be high scoring just because both sides have shown defensive deficiencies. And we're talking one-on-one tackle misses. We're talking systematic errors. There's like, other teams you can say they leaked points, but they just didn't do X right today. Whereas our teams, I thought there's a few different reasons we're leaking points. So I'll go 30-20. Interestingly enough, 9 of the last 10 times we've played at Seabus have gone under 51.5. So that would keep me just under that continuing. For a try scorer, I'm going to go Curtis Morin. I'm making that prediction based on the fact I think Tino and Mo, and I'm certainly hopeful, can rebound in form and have a strong game against what I would consider in your forward pack weaker to some of the teams we've played so far this year. If they're able to get that momentum rolling, I can see someone like Curtis Morin coming off the bench and keeping it rolling himself with that momentum and capitalizing. Outside of him, I'd go Cooper Bai, who is similar fashion, maybe like an inside ball from the hooker, maybe just hitting a short ball off our hooker or close to the try line. So I'm going to go one of our bench big boys coming on and scoring for us. Dragons, I'm trying to think where we've been leaking most of our tries. It really has been all over the park, hasn't it? But our right side's been the weakest, which goes to your left side, which you probably have to lean. Like Clint Gutherson's going to play down that side. So you'd probably have to go towards either Moses Suli or Christian Tuipulotu. Or maybe Clint Gutherson himself. Maybe he could throw a dummy and kind of go through as the Titans shift too far. I don't associate Gutho, like you said. I don't really associate him as a running fullback anymore. But he has scored 4 times in his last 5 games over the Titans. And the Titans have conceded a try to the opposite fullback in their last 5 consecutive games. Yeah. So those are stats to suggest Gutho could be a chance to score.
Yeah.
Put him on.
Just want to clarify 30-20 to the Titans.
Yes. Sorry, of course. Look, don't ask me why. I don't have many reasons why. That is purely a tip with your heart and not your head.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too, because I'm not confident.
We're all just searching for a win, man.
It's honestly
this game shouldn't have a favorite. The Titans being favorites is just silly. This is like a direct.
I don't know how the Titans are favorites. Like it should either be even or Dragons by 10 cents. Because like in terms of every games, like maybe I'm being biased, but that first game that the Dragons played against the Bulldogs showed me honestly hope. Has my hope dropped a lot since the last 2 games? Yes, but I don't know. I feel like the Dogs game alone should. I don't know. It's all betting anyway. It doesn't affect the actual game itself. Boys, the Titans of Dragons have played a lot of games against each other. What would you boys say has been your favorite Dragons versus Titans moment or game? I'll start off. Look, Dragons and Titans historically it's just been a slugfest. Just both crap teams. Just just always versing each other. I'm gonna say my favorite. We didn't really. I feel like when we verse you, we usually pump you guys. If I'm quite honest, like I feel like in terms of close games, you guys get the close games over us. But in terms of thrashings, we probably get it over you. But I think my favorite is round 1, 2024, where we beat you. I think it was 28 points to 4, just because I remember a clip from from BKR Sport, which is your good mate Clarkey, and I remember he was doing the predictions of the game, and like someone made it on TikTok and edit over it later after the game, but he was like, "There's no way the Dragons could win." And I remember all the media was saying like we were tipped for the spoon heavily that season, and the Titans, everyone was tipping them to do well. I'm pretty sure that season, to an extent. And I just remember we came straight out of the park and just dominated. Our defense that game was one of the better defensive games I've seen in a long time. Does that show how bad sometimes the Titans attack was potentially? But I'm giving kudos to our defense because we stopped your guns. And at Seabass, it's not an easy place to go, especially when you're the Dragons. Nowhere's easy to play. So I would say that game is probably my favorite Dragons v Titans memory. Jules?
You took the game straight out of my head because I went to that game. Mum and Dad agreed to go for a weekend away to Gold Coast, round 1. That was a great game to attend to, expecting nothing because it was a round 1. Who knows what's going to go down? Pretty sure we ruined AJ's day.
Yeah, it was a milestone. I remember because I had the shirt on and I was sitting. I don't know if I was sitting next to you, but we were with each other at the game at one point.
And it was a good weekend away. Got the W, great form. Pretty sure Sloan scored a hat trick or something, something like that, or a double. I don't know.
We ruined 2 Titans milestones last year. In 2024, we ruined Kieran Foran's. With the 300 at Wollongong. That was a great game. I'm pretty sure that we conceded the first try within like a minute or something like that.
Yeah.
And then from that game, Dane, what do you reckon is your favorite Dragons and Titans moment or game?
Result aside, it would be the Kieran Foran milestone game. It did start very promising for us, like you said there. Keanu Kinney goes the whole field. From there, it wasn't as enjoyable. But in terms of just like the atmosphere itself and being at the Wollongong Stadium for the first time, I really enjoyed that. Speaking about results specifically, well, you guys have beat us in 5 of the last 6 meetings. The last time we beat you was Toby Sexton's final ever game as a Titan. He goes through and scores. He gets released like 2 days later to join the Bulldogs. And I was never really a huge fan of Zach Lomax on or off the field. I didn't like hate him or anything like that. I just wasn't a big fan. And he actually missed the conversion that would have leveled things up. He missed a conversion earlier in the game. And as I understand, he was very emotional after that game at the Titans fans. So that would be my favorite if we want to incorporate the result as well.
I remember there was lots of build-up between him and BKR Sport. There was a
Blaze, bro.
Bit of drama going on. Which, you could say that Blaze got the last laugh, but in terms of NRL, like that day he got the last laugh. But I remember Blaze was giving it to. This is what I wasn't even a content creator, and I remember seeing you and Blaze, and I remember Blaze specifically heckling Zach Lomax at Wollongong, and he got the last laugh that day. I'm not flexing a last laugh because I don't really like Zach Lomax anymore. I did, but. Dragons. I don't think any Dragons fans likes that bloke. To be quite frank,
I don't think anyone does anymore.
He's burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Now we're gonna do a Dragons versus Titans combined 13. So we're gonna go through each matchup 1 to 13, and build the best, starting 13. So first up. Keanu Kinney or Clint Gutherson? Who would you rather have in your team? Jules?
Sorry, Gutho. Sorry, Captain. I'm going to take Kinney. He's just got the speed, agility. I'd take a fast fullback over Gutho. Sorry, but...
Blaze? Oh, no, Blaze. Dane?
At this stage of their careers, I'd have to say Keanu Kinney. He's quicker, he's more explosive, and he has more of a, I guess, quote unquote, modern fullback skill set that you look for.
Yeah, 100%. So number 1 goes to Keanu Kinney. Now, this first winger, Faamani, is that how you pronounce it? And Christian Tuipulotu. Now, I'm going to go, and purely based on the fact that Titans aren't my number 1 watch team, and I haven't seen that much from Faamani, and I feel like CT has played in the NRL longer, so I've kind of seen more of him. I'll probably have to say CT, probably that wing. Would you, Jules, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. We've seen a lot of more Tuipulotu than him. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to say his name, so I just said him.
Him.
Yeah, Dane?
I don't have to say my answer. I'm just going to do this, and you guys know. Or if you're listening to the podcast, you probably don't know. I made a cash gesture for Christian Tuipulotu's try celebration.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, first centre, Jojo Fafita or Moses Sully. Jules?
Moses Sully on his day? Shit, man.
This is a tough one.
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck.
We'll let Dane start.
Yeah.
Clarkey?
Jojo just, because you can stick him on the wing also, so there's some more versatility there. I feel like Moses Sully has a higher ceiling than Jojo, but he doesn't always hit that ceiling. He can kind of be up and down, whereas Jojo's, his ceiling's not as high, but I feel like he's slightly more consistent than Sully, and he gets that versatility edge as well.
Jules, who would you say?
I feel like he can cover more than one spot. I don't know. I don't think Sully's played on the wing. Maybe a couple of times to cover someone.
I think he played on the wing in Manly back in 2018, but that feels like a mountain.
That was like when he first started or something. Then he got moved.
Yeah, that's the first later. Season.
Yeah, I'd say Fafita only just too. So
next man up, not even close. Max Fina, Valentine Holmes. No offense to Valentine Holmes, but obviously Max Fina. Nah, I'm joking. I love Max. Genuinely, he's such a nice bloke. He's such a down to earth guy. But it's Valentine Holmes. Like, albeit Valentine Holmes hasn't been great to start the season. He played well in the Storm game, but for like the Dogs game and the Parramatta game was kind of hard for him to get involved. But ultimately, it's Valentine Holmes. He's still probably going to play Origin this year. Max Fine probably not so much. Don't think he'll make the Origin side. So I'll think of Valentine Holmes. Do you boys agree with that?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a debate there. He's just the more superior player.
Philip Sami or Setutu. Now, I also think this is a no-brainer. I think Philip Sami is probably because Philip Sami. Honestly, when there was rumors that Philip Sami was coming to St. George, I was very excited because Philip Sami was a guy. I don't know what ended up happening with that. I don't know if there was actual real. Clarkey, do you know if there was any real interest, or do you think was it just speculation or media?
Nah, Hane identified Sammy as one that he wants to move on. He's been there for a while now, Phil, since he debuted, and the Dragons basically said, "Yeah, we'll take him, but we want him immediately." I think this might have been before you guys had signed David Farley and Setutu, and the Titans basically were like, well, no, you can have him, but no one said it was immediate. He's still with us for another year. So the Dragons kind of cooled their interest in that regard. And then after it cooled, they ended up getting Farley in too.
Yeah. But yeah, Philip Sami probably, well, not probably, he's the better of the winners. You boys happy with that?
Yeah, happy with that. The only thing I'd point out as well, which is interesting, is Setutu's a rookie, but he's 27. Phil's got like over 100 games and he's 28. So I think that really does sell the point there as well.
100%.
The halves, Carl Flanagan or AJ Brimson. Now, as a half, if we're going based on position, who I'd want in that position, this is going to sound crazy, but Carl Flanagan in that position. But as a player, I'd prefer AJ Brimson. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
see
don't
what
know.
You're saying there.
I'm kind of split on this. Jules, what would you say?
I see what you're trying to say here. I hear. Like I know what you're saying.
Dane, Who would you in a
It
starting?
depends. It depends who's going to be their halves partner for me. Because if you are going to have AJ Brimson, like if you're going to have both next to Daly Cherry Evans, who you knew was going to steer you around the park, I'd take Brimo. I think he's got a much stronger running game. But then if you knew that you were going to be next to like a Jerome Hughes, a running halfback, then I'd rather Kyle. I don't want to skip ahead, but I think when it gets to the halfback battles, I'm going to go Jaden Campbell. And so that kind of leads me that the selection here has to be Kyle Flanagan, just because Brimson's shown in these first few games he has struggled at 5'8".
Yeah.
So look, I'll go. Yeah, if we're going to agree with Jaden Campbell in the next, not to skip ahead, but if we are, then I would say Kyle Flanagan for this pick.
Yeah, you will be happy to split this one and for the halves. Have Kyle Flanagan over AJ Brimson, and then have Jaden Campbell over Atkinson. Jules,
I'm happy with that because I think with Jaden Campbell, you're also getting a goal kicker as well.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
We're gonna get lots of Dragons fans after us for not having Akko over a circle fullback. But I'll tell you what, I agree.
Yeah, seriously.
Now to the forward. So we'll wrap up the backs first. I will kind of recap. So we have Keanu Kinney at fullback, CT on the wings, Jojo in the centers as with Valentine Holmes, and on the other wing Philip Sami, with the halves being Kyle Flanagan and Jaden Campbell. So honestly,
we're gonna get a lot of backlash from that.
You can make an argument for the halves to have the complete opposite.
Yeah,
legit. Like AJ Brimson and Daniel Atkinson as the halves. Like honestly, like you could that's honestly very tough. Full forwards, Mo Fodawaker or Emre Gula. Now, if we're just talking this year, hear me out. If we're just talking this year, I've actually been impressed with Emre Gula this year. Genuinely, I have. But it's Mo Fodawaker. And I think I'll be crazy to put Emre Gula over Fodawaker in a starting 13. Jules?
Jules? Yeah, that one.
Dane?
Yeah, Mo's had some huge games across his career. He hasn't started his career in form, but we're still talking someone who's played Origin, played internationally. So you have to give Moeki the tick there, in my opinion. Yeah,
no, 100%. The hooker, Sam Verrills or Damien Cook. Me personally, I'm going to go with Cookie just because he just adds so much. Do you boys agree? Or
agree? Oh,
I still rate Cook really high, man, for like his age and his output. I know like there's sometimes the obsession in rugby league of going for the new, the new shiny toy, but I don't think Jacob Liddell could come on and have the same impact he's had throughout last year, that Cookie going through that hard work for him. So I rate Damien Cook, and I just wanted to provide an example why, I suppose.
This one, I'm not going to
even ask you. This next one, I don't think anyone.
This is a very tough one.
No, this is fucked. Like
Tino
versus the best forward in the game.
I know, it's crazy.
So here's a story about Blake Laurie. I was on TikTok live watching with a friend doing like a live watch along, and someone with the surname Laurie joins, who I assume is like a cousin or a brother. And he says to me, "What do you think about Blake Laurie?" And I said, "Look, he's an honest toiler, but in the modern game, you want a prop that's lightweight, has footwork, can get fast play the balls." I said, Laurie can't do that. And so at most, he's like a 15-minute off the bench type prop for me these days. Yeah. The person who asked the question just goes up at me. He goes, "How dare you say that? You're on the couch drinking beer, mate. You're just a loser." He went on a massive monologue. And I'm like, mate, you asked the question and I gave you my honest answer. So what I'm saying is, of course, I have Blake over Tino.
Next forward. How do you pronounce his name, Dane? Is it How?
Yeah, I've always said Arama How, but the commentators are now saying Ho.
Oh.
Arama Ho. But yeah, I've always and I've known him since he was like a kid at the Titans. It's always been Arama How, but now he's
maybe it's just
Arama Ho.
Dumb.
Ho.
I don't know.
Ho.
Luciano Leilua, I think probably just beats him just because of experience, and I think he's been just like me. Over Ho, I don't know. Yeah,
never trust a Ho. I've got Luciano Leilua as well.
There you go. Next name, Jane Saw or both Firma. Now, this is actually closer than a lot of people think.
This is pretty,
because both Firma is a top tier player. All right, he's actually going. You could see the Titans really missed him when he had an injury for an extended period amount of time. I just would say Jane Saw. I'll say Jane Saw. Jules, Dane.
Yeah, Tua. I don't know. I'm gonna say Tua.
It's tough.
I think you could point to Bo Firma being selected for Origin last year over Jaden Sewer and kind of use that as your evidence if you did want to go Firma. But I still think Jaden Sewer is the more complete player. Like he can run short lines. He can play in the middle if you need. He's got an offload. He can break tackles, which Bo Firma can do most of that as well. I just think Jaden Sewer, whilst he might not do it as consistently as Bo, he does it at a higher level. Like his ceiling's higher. So I got Jaden Sewer.
100%. And rounding out the side, Chris Randall or Hamish Stewart. Now, I'm going to say Hamish Stewart because I see lots of potential for this kid. I've said this before and I've said this again. Hamish Stewart is going to be in the Origin squad in the next 2 years. If he's not in it this year, he'll be in next year. One of the next 2 years, he's going to be in the Origin squad. I rate this guy so much. The workload he does, he's such a workhorse in the middle. Like, genuinely, I've been impressed. Him and the Couchmans are – our forward pack is set for the next 10 years, genuinely. Like,
that's it.
Keon, Halangahu, like we Couchman's Dylan Egan. I forgot who's coming. People forget how good Dylan Egan was before he got injured. I'm gonna say Hamish Stewart. Dane, Jules.
Yeah, I'll say Stewart. He's pretty much our future, bro.
Yeah, I'm team Hamish Stewart here as well. Chris Randall's a handy depth option. You can play hooker, lock, come off the bench for you, play back row even, but I do see a pretty big future for Hamish Stewart based on what he's shown so far. Looks to be like a real, like you said, he's got that kind of Origin feel about him where he's hard-nosed. He's got that tough edge about him. So, yeah, I got to say Hamish Stewart.
I'll tell you what, like, I honestly thought we'd be missing DeBellin this year, but Hamish Stewart's been amazing. And DeBellin hasn't been good this other season, hence why he was dropped against the Dragons.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It looks like Shane did the right thing. People a lot of question Shane because how long he's been at the club, but to be honest, you got to do what's best for your club. And I think this was the right thing to do, was to get rid of kind of old deadwood. But that rounds up the side. I'll kind of recap it. So at fullback, Keanu Kinney. On the wings, Christian Tuipulotu and Philip Sami, with the centers being Jojo Fafita and Valentine Holmes. In the halves, we have Carl Flanagan and Jaden Campbell, with the forwards being Mo Waker, at hooker, Damon Cook, and the rest of the forwards, Tino, Luciano Leilua, Jane Saw, and Hamish Stewart. You boys happy with that?
Yeah, looks pretty good.
It's pretty bang on.
Yeah. Well,
premiership winning team.
That side,
I wouldn't go that far.
Genuinely, that side honestly could make the air. If that was the actual NRL side, I honestly think that could make the air. I don't know how you boys think. I think it could make the air. I don't know.
Top 15 for sure. Top 15. Well, because we wouldn't be 16th or 17th if we combined. So we've got to be top 15.
Exactly.
100%. Well, with that being said, that wraps up the 22nd episode of the Saints podcast. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every single time we post a video. Boys, thank you guys so much for jumping on.
Anytime.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you boys sneaking off me. And
best
like I said, if the Dragons win this weekend, I expect all of you guys to give it to me, and rightfully so, because the banner would be awesome.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to post a video, and if the Dragons lose to the Titans, I will do whatever the top comment says, just because I want
That's how confident he is.
So I'll tell you what, I need some, for content reasons, I'll be willing to put on a Titans jersey to do whatever, as long as I don't. Actually, there's no limits. So there we go. If the Dragons lose to the Titans, I'll do whatever the top comment says. So make sure you guys get commenting, and we'll see you next episode. Up the Saints.
Up the Saints.